This is a scene from The Matrix. This is right before Neo, as he is running away from Agent Smith, stops, turns around, and faces him for the first time to fight him mano a mano. And as he turns to do this, Morpheus says to Trinity, as they're watching this on their screen, that he is believing. So this was brought up in my comments recently in one of my videos by a friend of mine that we go back and forth quite a bit. And the latest topic has been, can a person choose to believe? And this all stemmed from a video where I was saying that a person cannot just choose to believe. And lately, I've been getting a lot of Christians from this friend and from other Christians on other platforms, on Reddit and whatnot, of Christians saying you can choose to believe. And personally, I think this has gotten down to an issue of semantics, because in all of the examples that all these Christians, including my friend, as you know who you are, that they're giving, they are using examples of what I would describe as trust or leaps of faith. When Neo turns to face Agent Smith, it is a leap of faith. He is trusting that he is the one. Even though he's been told at some point that he's not the one, this is a leap of faith that he is making. If you were to ask Neo, do you believe that you can be Agent Smith? He would probably say, I think I can do it. Obviously, I mean, I don't think he would be turning around if he knew for a fact that he could not beat Agent Smith. There's something in him that's telling him, I think I can do this. Maybe it's a nuance, but I believe it's a nuance worth making. And I want to use the reverse. For the majority of my life, I was a Christian. And I went through a period of about 12 years of deconstruction. And towards the end of that time, 20 to 23, as my deconstruction was moving me closer and closer to where I am now, I would call myself an agnostic atheist, I took the equivalent of a leap of faith in the opposite direction. I was getting to the point where I no longer was believing. And I eventually got to the point where I had to admit to myself, I actually don't believe this. So I stopped going to church. I stopped praying. I stopped reading my Bible. I stopped doing the things that I did as a Christian. In many ways, that was a leap of faith into atheism. Think about it. My entire adult life, I believed that if you don't believe this thing, you're going to go to hell. And there's a part of me hoping that maybe no one would go to hell. So maybe there was a part of me that was a universalist. But if you were to ask me, I would say, yeah, if you don't believe, you go to hell. And I was trying to figure out how a good and just God would make it work. But I was trusting somehow God would make it work. So when I acknowledged that I was an atheist, I wouldn't say I chose to become an atheist. When I acknowledged and I was honest with myself that I didn't believe this anymore, and I stopped doing all the things that I used to do, and in many ways, that was a leap of faith. I'm trusting that I'm not going to spend eternity burning in hell. And honestly, when I was a baby atheist, it was hard. It was still kind of freaking me out, some of the things I would say or do, because if God is real, I don't want to piss him off. I remember this distinctly, watching a video from Christy Burke. She's not active on TikTok anymore, but she was a huge atheist, ex-Christian on this channel for a number of years. She now has a YouTube channel called Jezebel Vibes. But I remember watching this video of her responding to a comment saying, you know, you're going to get yours. It was something like that, your typical threat from a Christian. And the video was her outside saying, here I am, God, strike me down, or whatever. It was something like that. It was totally making fun of this person's threat and challenging God to strike her down or something. And she was like, nothing happened. This is when I was a baby atheist. I remember thinking, oh my God, how is she able to do that? I remember sending her a message, how are you able to do that without freaking out? And she says it took time, it takes years. Now, I mean, I don't go so far as to do all that, but I do say and do a lot of things now that I would never in a million years have done as a baby atheist, because I was still not certain. But all that to say, as I've gathered more evidence, as I continue to learn more, the more I'm actually engaged with Christians on this app and on Christianity subreddit, the more I watch these live call-in shows like The Line and The Atheist Experience or Justin's the Deconstruction Zone, the more I gather all this, the more I am convinced of my current lack of belief in God. I'm still agnostic, but that lack of faith, for lack of a better word, is growing. So whether it is Neo turning around and making a leap of faith to fight Agent Smith, or like the example I gave in a couple videos ago of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, taking a leap of faith to walk across a cavern where there was no visible bridge and realizing there was an invisible bridge, or a Christian who is no longer convinced of the evidence, taking a leap of faith to stop doing all the things he used to do and trusting that he's not going to end up in eternal conscious torment somewhere. These are all examples of choices people can make that you can describe as quote unquote choosing to believe. But these are just leaps of faith, trust, hope that whatever it is you are putting that faith in will pan out. And the more you engage, the more you may be convinced and the fewer doubts you have. But at the end of the day, you are either going to be convinced that something is real or that it's not. And the only choice you can make is to take the evidence that you have been given and to move in a direction one way or another, or to not move at all based on that evidence. But the action of acting on that faith is not the same thing as being convinced that something is real and believing it. And that is what atheists mean when we say that you can't control what you believe.